Speak to you, my friend. Will the Sundays go first ahead of the dailies?
We're only going to do one embargo, which is for Mondays.
So there's no Sunday night embargo?
No. Sunday night embargo.
Oh, sorry, Saturday night.
Not Saturday night embargo, no. I'm happy for you guys to work it out amongst yourselves.
Okay, can I ask just...
Yeah, of course. If everyone in the room is happy, then we don't have...
They only want Mondays, and I only want a little bit for Sunday.
No, that's fine.
It's only because the press conference facility. So if you're happy with
the press conference is only this early because the Premier League tell us it has to be this early.
Yeah.
What's that?
So it has to be done by Friday. Tomorrow's the day off. So this is what we got. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
They weren't saying it had to be Thursday.
No. Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas about this Sunday.
Oh.
Wow. Next time. Well, next time we'll do it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, there you go.
Perfect, Hector. I'm in.
Nice and easy. All right, Dave. Very good. Very good. So as mentioned, Geraint go first. Sky down a follow on from PLP. We'll do anything under immediate embargo at that point. We'll let Harry do something for the Sundays, and then we'll do something for the Mondays. We'll keep all those sections nice and short. Cameras can keep running as long as those are respected of the journalists in the room. I'm sure we'll be quick. Geraint.
Good afternoon. Good to see you smiling. I mean, I think if I may start there, because we could see your frustrations in the post-match press conferences last night. Speaking of it, on reflection, how do you take positives out of it? Again, you are playing well. You're clearly playing well, but the results aren't quite going your way for whatever reason. How do you sort of reflect on the little bit of time you've had to look back at what happened last night?
My wife always told me that my body language is very, very clear, so I can't, hide my disappointed or my frustration if I'm frustrated or disappointed, or hide when I'm happy or everything is going the right way. And there's a lot of emotions in football, and I think it's important they're there. I need to do my best to control myself, and that's why I thinking about this 24-hour rule, that we can be disappointed for 24 hours or frustrated or happy and celebrating for 24 hours, and then we need to move on again. I am very pleased with the performance. It was 80 of our maybe best performing minutes in this season so far. And I think first half we were completely on top of the game. And I think we are closer to 2-0 than are to 1-1 with chances and opportunities. Then of course we talked about today, because compared to the pretty sure even to the first season, but especially last year where we were very, very good defensively, I think we were concede the fourth or fifth least goals, which is quite remarkable from a team like us. We're conceding too many goals this season for various reasons. Sometimes it's coincidences, sometimes there's patterns in it, and that's what we need to look into. But we have talked about it in the recent weeks about urgency in defensive situations or red flag situation, and the first goal, looking back at it, we need to be a little bit more, show more urgency in that situation in terms of the recovery runs. Not that we don't sprint back, I think we're one of the best to do that. And then we are just in that spell where it's also margins. It is a little bit of luck, because it's a deflection that he's surrounded by four players against one, not okay. Drops to him 1-1. Then the next situation, that's where we need to be very aware and don't concede the second goal, which you do, unfortunately. But again, the character mentality coming back in the game is very impressive with this group of players. And there were so many positive performances that I'm positive going forward, because I will not even call it science, but all experience and history shows if you keep performing well, you will get more points than other teams that are not performing well. And that's what we will keep believing in.
It is transfer deadline day. Brentford have done in the past very good deals on a deadline day. Are you actively in the market today?
Yes, but I think it's unlikely that something will happen.
Can you give us a percentage?
5% chance
Anyone in
that.
particular, or anything in particular you're looking at that you could?
No, not yeah, of course. But I will not say that. But as I said, I can't remember was that before the Tottenham game, that a lot of the work we're doing now is because maybe we want a player in now, but if it can't happen, then hopefully for the summer.
I think you bring me on nicely to a question about Antonio Nusa. You know, what is the reality of possibly that deal panning out? Is it far more likely than, as you say, 5% today, that could be a deal done with Bruges in the summer?
And as I said last time, I don't want to speak about specific players because I speak about players that are here, or I think I mentioned 2 other players I want to speak about, those Messi and Ronaldo, because it's quite obvious that they will not end in Brentford. In general, players we are working on, worked on, both. They could be named in the press by rumors. They could also not be named because it's not everything you get and not everything you find out. Luckily, could be happening in the summer.
I think overall, then, with where you are now, are you happy with the business that you've been able to do in the 31 days? So you've been given the time to do the business.
Yeah, I think the very big one was Sergio Reguilón. He was a key signing because we need a left back in. So very happy with that, and very happy with the 2 talents we signed in Yunus and Hakan. That's a classic Brentford signing players that we know will be good, or big belief in will be good for the future. So yeah, happy. And I think our biggest issue, we know we have a strong squad, was the injuries this season, or is the injuries this season, and you can see players that have been out coming back one way or another. You can see Ben, me perform well, strong. Ivan, of course, performed well, strong. Christian, he's been available. So we got more of the strong core back in the team.
Forgive me this question, because I'm asking maybe the question on behalf of nervous Brentford fans. I got a message from an old friend who's both their kids are big Brentford fans, and the message there was, please ask him one more time. I know he said 99.9%, but I suppose I'm asking the question on behalf of, there are nervous elements with any fan base. Ivan Toney, he's not going anywhere today.
This will be breaking news on Sky, okay? But Ivan will stay.
It's 0.1% up on the last time, we'll take that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thomas, February looks a tough month on a piece of paper. I know football is not played on paper, but you've got City twice, Liverpool, you've got some tough games in there as well. You talked about the performances there, but how do you approach a month where you've got to start getting some points? You've got to turn these positive performances into getting points. So how do you approach February and the games you've got coming?
Very simple, 1 game at a time. Going into every game, believe that we can win. We showed that many times. We showed with the performance yesterday that we are details/margins away from getting a win, I would say. And I think fully deserved more than 0 points. So that's the belief we need to go into this game with, and yeah, we know we can.
That was the last one from me, if I may. How do you make Monday night? They say it's 1 game at a time. Monday night is uncomfortable, as challenging as possible for Manchester City. We all know how good Pepper's drilled that side. We all know their talents and their threats. So how do you make it an uncomfortable night for City?
Good question. Very good question. They are flying at the moment. I think it's 10 wins and a draw in the last 11 games. They are on track for doing the undoable, winning the triple again. We just talked about, I don't think any team in the world in history have won the triple twice as a club. It's still possible for them. Of course, they will not talk about it. Pep will say, no, 1 game at a time. No, only focus on that, all that boring stuff. Same as I do. So we are quite boring head coaches. But they got the best players and the best team in the world. End of discussion. With potentially the best manager in the world. So, and they you can say, when does people or players or managers don't have that hunger or determination anymore? Do they lose it? It doesn't seem like they lose it. They can do something never done in history, And I think that's what drives them every single day. And that's why it's going to be unbelievable difficult for us Monday night. The good news for the Brentford fans is that we have a big belief and a big determination, and we know we are difficult to play against for any team in the world, even Man City. But of course, it's probably percentages or odds against for us winning that game, but we believe we can. You're welcome.
Good to see you again, Thomas. But I'll start on City then, because you've beaten them in your last 2 Premier League meetings. So maybe the rest of the Premier League will be listening. How do you do that? Just replicate it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like every game we play, we will learn from it. So I'm pretty sure that City and Guardiola have learned from that. And if they play to 10 out of 10 and we play to 10 out of 10, they will win. That's the way it is. Or we need to be unbelievable lucky, because that's the way football is. I take a lucky win, and that would be nice. But so they will have the ball a lot, like they do against any team in the world. I watched them against Tottenham. What was it, last Friday? And I was surprised how good they were against Tottenham, because I think Tottenham have been very good. I think Tottenham registered one shot in the whole game. And they were completely in control, City. That was a very impressive performance away from home. And then they're going to the bus stop in Hounslow, Brentford. And they'll probably they will also dominate us in spells. So we obviously need to defend well. Hopefully our high pressure can be good in spells. And then the low block need to be fantastic. Our defensive set pieces need to be fantastic. Our offensive set pieces need to be fantastic to score a goal. And then on the ball, we need to be cool and we need to be brave in the spells where we are on it.
Can I ask, when you exert as much energy as you did at Spurs last night and then fall the wrong side, what's the next morning like? What's the training ground like when you know you've got to so quickly switch your focus to the next game? Might be easy for you, might not be as straightforward that than players.
Yeah, I think it's agree. And another thing, I think all the stats shows that Tottenham is the most intense team in the league this season. But last night we beat them on that. So we show and we know we are a very intense team as well. So it's good that we could do that. So we put in the performance and the shift that matched Tottenham, and we're close to get something out of it. And that's the good news the players are taking out of that performance that we can bring into to Monday night. And they're professional footballers. They're very, very fit. And these players, they got an unbelievable mentality. So, of course, we're all, not me as much, of course, I'm a little bit tired today as well, a little bit less sleep and the adrenaline, of course. But the players, of course, are tired. Maybe the body got some food knocks and all that, but that's part of it. So today is part of the 24 hours, a little bit feeling sorry for yourself. And then tomorrow morning, we know we are ready to go again.
Just to follow up on the injuries, because there's a few days now between now and Monday night, and hopefully you might get any more back to be available for the game?
No. So I think the only one is the AFCON players in Nusa and Frank Onyeka. They play, was it Friday night? So it's a win-win situation. If the winner go through, I'm very happy and pleased for them. If they don't, I'm happy that they can come back to us.
Could they be available?
They could, but of course they have to fly back and all that. And we need to look into that. But let's see. But the injury players of the key ones, Hickey, Rico, Kevin, and Brian, they will still be all out.
We touched on February in the schedule. I know you could have ended up playing. The original schedule was play Manchester City in December, when the game was originally scheduled for. Back then, no De Bruyne. Ahead of this weekend, Haaland's back, De Bruyne's back. Just how it falls, it's the plan you've got to come up with against those top players.
Yeah. I think it's they have so many top players. I think my head analysis showed me, was it last night against Burnley? I played Foden and was the other Doko on the winger, and maybe they played Grealish and Silva against us. 4 top players. So it doesn't matter who they play. Of course, Haaland and De Bruyne, I think those two are difficult to replace. Personally, I think De Bruyne have been the best player in the Premier League in the last, 3 seasons, something like that. Consistent at the highest level. And Haaland smashed all goal records last year. So 2 top players. But, one of the reasons why we want to get promoted as a club and team was to get the biggest challenges in the world, and we're facing the best teams in the world that won the treble and are on track to win it again.
Finally from myself, thank you for your time again. Your message remains the same, doesn't it? Not just publicly talking to the press, but internally in your dressing room. We've heard you say it again this afternoon, keep believing, we have to keep fighting.
Yeah, every day, and I think it's part of life, it's part of football. We can never slow down, we can never stop believing, we can never feel too sorry for ourselves, and I think there's so much positive. I think there's still so much positive vibe around this club. Would we have loved to have 7-8 points more than I think we played to? Yes, but we don't. But we have a fantastic challenge ahead of us on Monday. We're looking forward to it. Welcome.
Anything else immediately? Yes, sir.
When you wake up in the morning, the transfer window will be closed. Will you be happy or relieved that it's closed and that you can now focus on the rest of the window, that you don't have these boring questions from us about Ivan Toney and things like that?
Especially the last one, yeah. Yeah, I was pretty sure said from the beginning that Ivan will stay with us, so I was not worried about that. But in general, it's nice to know what you work with. So in that situation, yes.
For you, and I know throughout the whole window you've been steadfast that he will be staying. Does it just prove how far this club has come that you can say that and you can mean that, and then you see it all the way through that he stays here, you can keep him here? Does that just show how far Brentford have progressed?
Yeah, I think it's. I think with any player we have a contract with the players in general, so. In the end of the day, we decide if they can leave or not. Of course, money talks, and we also know that we are a selling club, or what you call it. So we know that's part of the strategy. We want to have young, talented players in, develop them, make them better, be on a journey with us, improve, hopefully do some fantastic stuff in the league, maybe one day win something, but in the end of the day, after some years, if they're good enough, they will progress to the next level.
Anything else immediately? Yes.
I just wanted to ask, so obviously you beat them home and away last season, but again, as was mentioned, they've been without Haaland and De Bruyne for large portions of the season. I wondered whether you've noticed any sort of changes in the way that they played compared to last season, because they've obviously had to adapt. Playing Alvarez up top, they haven't really got a focal point.
I think overall it's the same. We know Pep wants to control the game, so he's thinking a lot about the positions in the phase 2, so they can control the game throughout and pin teams in and tying them down. So that hasn't changed. Of course, I don't think it's the style of play that changed when other players are coming in. So us coaches, we of course are unbelievable, and everything we say to the players, they listen, and it's only because of us, everything they do. And no, it's probably also the quality and the different types of players that then add different dimensions. And we have seen the relationship between De Bruyne and Haaland. And no doubt, of course, Pep and his coaching staff have been involved, but sometimes it's that connection that you can't really coach, but it's the players connecting, and the different types just change this slightly. So that, I think, is the biggest difference.
With Keane Lewis-Potter, I mean, he was excellent last night. It's going to be a big game for him again on Monday. How do you think he's going to cope with that? And it's sort of a new-ish role. He's not too used to it. How do you think he's adapting?
I think he's adapting unbelievable well. I must praise his mentality and focus and willingness to adapt to the role. Of course, they're professional footballers, as you just do it, but they need to feel it, that they want to do it, and he wants that. But I like his more confidence. it's clearly he's turning forward more and more and driving in them, and did some very good stuff where he just got out of tricky situations that I really loved. And then playing wing back as a winger, his defensive mindset was unbelievable.
Sort of zeroing in on that in terms of his game, what have you sort of told him, what the coach has told him that he needs to basically add to his game in order to fulfill that role, basically?
I think there's a few defensive things we just had to touch on. Of course, that is not as natural, and we trained that and showed video of it, and he adapted well. But we play him also there because of his offensive qualities, ability to run at people, crosses, and running in behind.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else before we allow Harry to go for Sunday?